Good morning. Boy, look at FSR3. Look how bad it is there. Oh man, look at all that shimmering and stuff. Oh, it's bad. Just kidding. Just kidding. That's an ambient occlusion bug. Go in, turn off ambient occlusion. Boom. It's fixed. No artifacts. Looks perfect. Native AA with frame gen. Looks perfect. Go in, turn on ambient occlusion. Oh man, look how bad that is. See it all shimmering out there? Yeah. So you can either turn off ambient occlusion as I did, or drop down to quality, add in some ray trace lighting, quality with frame gen, ray trace lighting, and keep ambient occlusion on. Look, it's also fixed. Perfect. The only shimmering in the entire screen is right on that billboard. And now it's not doing it. So, if you're having issues, that's what you gotta do. It's not FSR causing the horrible shimmering and stuff. But a lot of people are, not doing ray tracing. They're using quality upscaling, and they're walking around and they're like, oh, look at all the shimmering and artifacts. And, oh, it's so bad. See up there and the windows up there. Oh, look at all ghosty and shimmering. I'll just put on ray tracing instead of going all the way to the bottom. Now that would be an FSR shimmer right there. But some things like those windows is not FSR's fault. It's ambient occlusion bug. But you'll be able to notice that if you turn off ambient occlusion or turn on medium ray tracing, you will notice different places that are shimmering that shouldn't be. Like right there. See that thing shimmering real bad? That little signpost? That's ambient occlusion, I'm sure. So let's turn it off. Ambient occlusion off. Boom, fixed it. See? It's no longer glitching out. It's perfectly stable. Or you turn it back on and see it shimmering really bad right there. Really bad, looking bad. You see it shimmering while I zoom. We'll take it off. And you can leave ambient occlusion on, turn on ray tracing, lighting, medium, apply. Oh look, it's fixed. So that's how you fix this here. Everyone's complaining about FSR3 being horrible. Well, just run like I'm running. If you want the best zero artifacts, this is my recommendation. Ray tracing off, native AA, frame gen, and then ambient occlusion off. And then here's the other settings I'm using. Actually, I could probably put that to high. Everything on high down there. And then you can adjust motion blur and stuff to your liking. Ray tracing off, frame gen on, native AA. And this is what I would recommend. It looks better than DLSS, better than native. And I'll do a little ride with these settings. Native AA with frame gen. But I haven't found many artifacts. It looks so much better. Yo, get off my butt, please. But yeah, it is so smooth and sharp. Oh, because I am streaming, it loses some performance, about 10 to 15, 20 FPS. About 20% utilization. But yeah, this looks great. I don't know if people are going to be testing this. I hope this helps some people. I know my short videos got a lot more views than my lives. YouTube algorithm doesn't put out very good. Hey, there's a few signs there that I'm seeing that have a little bit of aliasing, but it is 10 billion times better than FSR 2.1. Like all the signs are rendered correctly now. The post and the light poles, they're all doing better. Even with FSR3 on, it's much more stable. But I think a lot of people are having issues with the ambient occlusion, to be honest. I think what people are doing is they're going in here, they're turning on quality FSR, frame gen, they're leaving ray tracing off, and then they have ambient occlusion on high, and then just driving down through, eventually you'll see some artifacts. But yeah, next time you see an artifact, just go in, turn on ray tracing medium, or if you want extra performance, turn off ambient occlusion. And you'll start to see things that you thought were FSR upscaling artifacts were actually ambient occlusion. But a lot of buildings and posts, like that tree right there, dead ahead, that tree is flickering right while we're moving. Yeah, it's flickering. Let's see if that's an ambient occlusion artifact. And I'll do the same thing. Yeah, it is. So that tree was flickering because of the ambient occlusion. It's not due to FSR. Because if I turn FSR on, oh, it is on. You know, it still looks stable, looks good. I mean, you can even do performance mode. I'll just do shadows. But even in performance mode, this looks better than quality on the original 2.1. Lampposts and signs and buildings are much less flickering, shimmering, and artifacts. There are some instances though, you know, it's not perfect yet, but it is a lot better. And this is performance mode. Most people don't even need to do performance mode. They turn on quality and they feel good, but even performance mode is looking so much better. Like even the fences and the posts, a lot better. And they say, well, I wish we could have XES and FSR 3.1 so we could use XES with frames generation as well. Well, look at this in motion. Look at all the fence posts. They're all aliased and look like crap. And I've done lots of testing. They do not look good. In motion, XES sucks. Like, I see so many artifacts and shimmering posts, and the light posts are shimmering compared to performance on FSR3. Boom, instantly it's taken care of. There are a few out in the background, but like 80% of it's gone. And that's compared to the original FSR 2.1 on performance. Yeah, lots of shimmering. The different signs and stuff are shimmering. So going from that to, from 2.1 to 3, big improvement. Things that were shimmering just a second ago are no longer doing so. But if you hate artifacts, just put it on native AA. Turn off ray tracing. Turn off ambient occlusion. Turn on frame gen. And play. The reason I bought the 7900 XTX was I didn't want to pay over $1,000 for a GPU. I didn't want to feed the greed. and it was $1,200 for a 4080 in 2023, so I got 7900 XTX. Plus, I didn't like upscaling. I like sharp 4K with zero artifacts. Well, now I got it. With native AA, AMD crushes it. You don't even need to upscale. Instead of using upscale to generate extra frames, just use frame generation to generate extra frames, you know? And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what I did with the DLSS mod. You know, after doing lots of testing and stuff, I don't think ray tracing improves the graphics enough to justify the artifacts or blurring from DLSS and FSR and other upscaling. You know, I think I'd rather play at 110 FPS, 4K, native AA, no artifacts, sharp, clear, versus, you know, putting it to performance and cranking up everything on high, you know. Can it do it? Yes. Would I have more FPS when I'm not streaming? Yes. Could I play the whole game like this? Yeah, but I don't think I want to. I mean, it is so much better than it was though. Except for a few artifacts here and there, it's a lot better. So I don't know if 3.1 can actually make it better than this. If they do update to FSR 3.1, but I've been checking the FSR list, and I'm not seeing any games that have had FSR 3, which are also going to FSR 3.1. It seems to be one or the other. But I'm hoping with AMD, the SDK they're putting out, it makes it easier for developers to implement, and I hope AMD's next generation of cards sell by the millions, so that developers will have more incentive if AMD has more market share. Because right now it's like 15-20%, give or take, and a developer can help 85% of gamers by just putting DLSS in. And like I said in the past, hey, if Nvidia would have put out the 4080 original in 2023 for $1,000, you know, I would have gotten it. I wouldn't have gone to AMD. But they were price gouging. $800 for a 4070 Ti, 12 gigabyte in 2023 is ludicrous. And that's what made me leave. EVGA left Nvidia. They tried to sell a 4080 12 gigabyte. Then instead they called it a 4070 Ti for 12 gigabyte and charged $800. That is just insane. And then they wanted $400 more for the 4080 at $1,200. So I said screw it, I want good memory and good price. So I got this for $1,000 with 24 gigs of VRAM. And right here's the statistics on the top right hand corner. We're using 16.6 gigabytes of memory right now. So we're going over a 4080 memory usage right here. 4080 only has 16 gigabytes. But y'all can see, even on performance mode with ultra ray tracing, it's not that bad. A few artifacts here and there, but it is a lot better. It's a little bit blurry. I wonder if my sharpness can go up. Yeah, that helps a little. I mean, I could play the whole game like this, I believe. Before with FSR 2.1, I couldn't. Like if I just went and switched over right now. First, you don't have frame gen. Second of all, I notice a lot of things just bugging my eyes out with artifacts. Just a lot of aliasing. Like here's a great example. See the telephone wires? You know, they're flickery, a little bit unstable. And here they might be a little flickery, but in motion, it's not as bad. Plus, that's what you have to give up. Listen, if you want to use ray tracing, you got to turn on upscaling. And even DLSS performance has problems. You know, you're trying to take 1080 and upscale it and make it 4K. It's not perfect yet. But these fences, you know, the fences are all messed up. And it does not look good. But with ray tracing, you can use ambient occlusion. It doesn't change anything. But if you go to quality, all of that should go away. Yeah, almost all of it is. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than even FSR 2.1 in certain cases. I'd like to do just medium lighting, and that's it. Whoops. Medium ray trace lighting. Quality FSR. And then throw on the frame gen. I wonder if frame gen does help with the artifacts at all. But yeah, so I'm impressed, I'm thankful. Because if people don't want artifacts, all they have to do is turn off ray tracing and ambient occlusion. Turn on native AA, there you go. You have a huge, like 60 to 70% performance increase from the frame generation. And you have basically not a single artifact on the whole entire screen. So I see artifacts driving down through here. Like the fences and stuff ahead of us. If I turn on native AA, turn off ray tracing, and turn off ambient occlusion, all of that's pretty much gone. And the other thing is, if you don't use any type of upscaling, there's still a whole bunch of artifacts and shimmering and flickering. Native resolution without upscaling, just the game by itself, has flickering and shimmering. Like look at the fence right there. The fence is there anything else besides the fence? Or something that's really aliasing? Like that green sign is always flickering. And that's the base game. That's how the game is from default. That is native resolution, no upscaling, no FSR. Question is, if there is a whole bunch of shimmering and I turn on native AA FSR, will it improve it? Okay, right above us in the orange walkway, I see some shimmering in the grate. I'm gonna turn this on to native AA and see what happens. Yeah, that's better than native. That for sure is better. So AMD improves the actual base game with the native AA.
I'll skin you to the bone!
So if you play the game without FSR, if you're playing the game without FSR and you're getting shimmering and stuff, and you turn on native AA, it will correct a lot of that. It will actually remove artifacts that are in the base game. Like see right here, I only see one or two areas where there's a tiny bit of flicker and shimmering. But if I turn it all off, completely just the way the game is, I see the sign flickering over there like crazy. But that's the only thing on the whole scene. There's native AA, frame gen. Yeah, and that cleaned up the flickering on the screen a little bit. So that's what I'd recommend. If you're having a bunch of artifacts, native AA, frame gen on, FSR native AA, and then just turn off ambient occlusion. Looks really good. Yeah, this is smooth, silky. It's really nice. But if you don't mind the artifacts, you can put on all the ray tracing and stuff. Put on ray trace medium. You can if you want. Still performs good. Quality upscaling. There are some artifacts, but it's so much better. It is so much better than 2.1. In my other video I showed how all the light posts would be flickering and stuff when you go up and down. It was bad.
Your brainwaves are synced up to the sound of 88.9 Pacific Dreams.
But even those lights right there, that is going better. Before, the whole entire panel would freak out. I was watching another guy's video.
This is a joke. Fucking joke.
Using DLSS or XESS. Oh, I forgot to check the stream out. Alright. Should be working good. I was saying bit rate and stuff earlier. But I mean, that is pretty stable. That looks pretty good. Compared to AMD Super Resolution FSR 2.1. Yeah, see how much more flickery that is? That's more flickery. Whereas when you are stable and steady and stationary, that's less flicker. It has some of that one edge, but it's less. And here's Intel Ultra quality. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, that whole entire image is flickering. And a little bit on the left side's flickering, but now the whole thing isn't. And then you can always choose native AA, ditch ray tracing, and then boom, that is perfect. You know, so that is better than XESS, that's better than FSR 2.1. Looks great. There is no flickering. And if you use quality, it still looks pretty good. People need to leave.
And I tell you, no! The Arasaka are no ordinary. They're
Did you
not
see
even
the sign
human.
flickering there, right there? Put it on native AA. Let's see what happens. A lot less. But just remember, play the game with no upscaling for a little bit, and you'll see it's artifacting. It has bugs, it has flickering and shimmering. That thing is shimmering. You know, these things are shimmering. See that right? The edge of that corner, the edge of the door of the refrigerator, it's all shimmering. So by default, the game shimmers in certain places. I've noticed it for the past year. But you can see the shimmering on that window by Esoterica. Put on native AA. Boom, it's more stable. So AMD FSR3 native AA is more stable than the actual built-in TAA with no upscaling at all. So with that option, AMD crushes everything. Because you can use native AA and FrameGen, and that's better performance and looks better than XESS or FSR 2.1. And there is going to be a little flicker, but that's because it's in the base game. The base game flickers. And you can use quality with some medium ray tracing. But I haven't noticed too much of a difference. Not enough to justify the artifacts in the past. Maybe now I could just go back, play the whole game ray traced. Because I can play the whole game with quality and ray tracing almost at 110 FPS. I cap it at 110. Keep some overhead. But like I said, constantly streaming increases load, so I don't get as much FPS. But it's looking good, I'm happy. I'm thankful that this came out. I wish they would have done it sooner. I wish they would have added FSR 3.1. I still hope they do. I hope AMD announces really good cards for really good prices with AI upscaling the next month or two. And I really hope that they get more market share. So AMD owners, developers will cater to them more, instead of only being 15% of the market, roughly. Let's check it out at nighttime. I mean, if you want all the bells and whistles, you can do it now without looking absolutely horrible. I mean, here's full ray tracing. And if I wasn't streaming, I would have 110 FPS right now, give or take a few. But is it playable? Yes. Is there a few artifacts? Yes. Is it perfect? No. Is DLSS perfect? No, but it's good. And this is better. So, let's go for a little ride here, then I'm gonna end the stream for now. I gotta get some things done. Ray tracing affects your dashboard lighting. Like some places you go underneath and you'll see your whole dashboard light up, where it wouldn't do that. Like right there. See how it's all blue right now? It's all filled with light. That's from the ray tracing. That's one thing I noticed that I like. And we even have ray trace reflections, everything turned on. See, I don't care about reflections. I like lighting and shadows. But I mean, right now we're at 90 frames per second with my stream running. And then if we go to ray trace reflections off, we go from 90 to 108, 107. So that gives us 17 FPS turning off reflections. I'm gonna go back to the place we just went through, because there's a lot of water in that puddle. Yeah, it's over here. But I mean, can you tell the difference? Oh my word, can you? Wow, I can't see the sign in the puddle as much, but I have 17 more FPS. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want a puddle to look better, or the whole game to have lots more performance and overhead? See, right now I'm running with my stream and I have overheaded 10%, 4%. It's not even using the full GPU utilization. And all I lost was a little bit of reflections. And they still look good. Here, ray trace lighting also affects reflections, I found. And by default, I think it sets you to ray tracing medium is what the preset is recommended by the game for AMD, I believe. Well, I mean, you could do that ray tracing medium preset with balanced, with the reflections off. And so, just because it's so performance heavy, I like to turn this from ultra to high. But I should, even with my stream, get almost 110. Nope, I have to use performance because of the stream. And the other thing is you can crank down clouds and fog just a little bit. You want your utilization about 90% or less, so that when you go like this, it doesn't, when you're moving and going to different areas, it doesn't hit 100%. Like right there, we just shot up to 99 and 100. But then if we stop here, it goes down to 98. So you want about 10% overhead. And I can tell right now it added motion blur back on. Lens flare, all that stuff. I'm gonna play it with it on a little bit. I don't like the film grain. And I think motion blur helps with depth perception sometimes. I'll play a little bit with it on. I don't know what to tell you. I'm running full ray tracing minus the reflections. Performance FSR. I have 90% overhead with streaming, so I know that I can put it to quality. I mean to balanced, and it'd be good. So it'd even look better, less upscaling, and I'd have performance overhead. So everything's possible now. I hope some reviewers come out. I hope AMD really pushes AI upscaling coming soon. I think that would help them. I mean, if they had a little bit of AI upscaling right now to help with the shimmering that the actual game has in it. Without upscaling, this game has shimmering. So if they can make AI upscaling, remove that shimmering, and stabilize it in motion and stationary, then it's DLSS or better. It's just simple. It's gonna run good. But like they just said, they need to get more market share. And the crazy thing is yeah, the shadows and lighting looks good and stuff, but you don't even have to do all that crap. Just put it on native AA, turn off ambient occlusion. Boom, there you go. What really changed? A little bit of lighting and shadows, they look a little different. Yeah, but we're at 4K native, and it's sharper and better than without resolution upscaling at all. It's better than the base game itself. And I'm getting 102 or 110 is what I would get right now if I wasn't streaming. And that's compared to no resolution upscaling at all. If we're running VSync. So by default, we'd be getting 64 frames a second. And normally I always modify the graphics. Like the fog, they can go down to medium. This can go to medium. Screen space reflections is one of the most demanding things, followed by fog. But just doing that now, we're 81. So we just went from 60 FPS to 82. So I mean, those three settings, fog, cloud quality, screen space, ambient reflections, changing them from high to medium, or ultra down to medium, gives you massive performance. But I'm seeing flickering and stuff right now as I'm just driving along. Some signposts. And this is how the game is. I'm not even using upscaling. Flickering on the fencing to the right. I mean, the fence out there is flickering too. Yeah, I see the fence posts right there. That is flickering. That one right there. It's like going up and down with lines and flickers. So I want to put on native AA, frame gen. Let's see if it's better. Yeah, it's fixed. That is no longer flickering at all. So now AMD can truly say native AA produces a better image than the game TAA, and you can add frame gen for, oh, what was I before? What's the performance without this? We're at 83 frames per second, 82. So 82 to 83 versus 116. Hey Siri, 116 divided by 82. So that's a 41% performance improvement over the base game. And it actually makes the images look a lot better. Yeah, the way they made the buildings draw lines is a little weird. But 89 FPS with quality mode instead of native AA. 89 goes up to 187. Hey Siri, 187 divided by 89. So that's 210% increased performance. Now we're running at 184 FPS. Whereas without this technology, you'd be running at 90 FPS. So it's literally doubling your FPS. And that's just quality mode. 194. And then performance mode plus frame generation. 240 FPS. Come on now. I'm glad they added FSR3. I hope FSR 3.1 is even better and there's less flickering and shimmering and stuff, and it's even better and more improved. But I'm glad they added this right here, right now. Not to do mods and all this stuff. Just come in here and set on quality. Set on some medium ray trace lighting and have some fun. Alright. I hope this video